Welcome back to LTN Reviews, guys. It's been a minute, actually. Been a couple of months. Life got busy. We're busy people. I'm sure you've been busy over Christmas. Anywho, want to talk about Avatar, The Way of Water. Ash, you've seen it. Like always, what are you thinking?
What do I think? Do you know what? This movie's been a long time coming.
Yeah, bro.
And
13?
when I say it, how can 13 years pass by and you think it's okay to bring out a sequel?
Yeah, I know. And like with James Cameron, he's been talking about so much shit about everyone else, like Marvel and all that. And he's like, these are not blockbuster films. These are just stupid kid films or whatever he's been saying. He's been moving mad. So I'm listening to him and I'm thinking, you haven't even enjoyed Avatar. You've been speaking about it for years. But we need that plan of action. I mean, how can you go from, like 2009 and now 2022, and you're thinking, yeah, it's acceptable, you chant all this was, and then finally dropping it. It's just silly, man. Silly.
It is a madness, but give it its dues. I would say in somewhat it delivered, but I would say a big but with that. If you're delivering 3 hours of movie, it's like you got to be bringing that bar set real high.
Yeah,
like you said, he's comparing himself towards Marvel. Like Marvel is a well-layered cake. This is quite linear. It bounces on. You look at the plot, and you'd be like, some of these characters died. What's happened? Obviously, spoilers. They've been saved in a status, and now they've been turned into avatars. So they try to level the playing field, and basically it just tells you the story of Jake Sully's character that now has a family.
Yeah, has a few kids under his belt and that. So.
And he is an avatar now. So
yeah, full time. So he's happy. He's with with his wife, and he's got a couple of kids, and you think everything's fine until the Sky people come and kind of ruin it for him. I didn't watch the trailer for this film. I don't understand. I thought, let me just go in it blind. You know what I mean? There was only a few trailers that come out for this film anyway, so I try and keep myself away from it. And I wasn't pleasant. To be honest, I was kind of surprised how okay it was. To be fair, I didn't really
how
rate
okay.
the film. It's okay. Like obviously, I didn't know the storyline, so I didn't know certain characters come back from the dead and become avatars. So that was kind of a cool aspect. And then you think, when did they start filming those sort of scenes? Because it looks so, it's obviously de-aging, but it just looks so crisp. And I'm like, when did you film these scenes? Did you film it in 2009?
It
dropped or not?
I'm a bit, because it does feel like it's been put together like now. If it's taken 13 years, ideally you would have expected that they would have done some filming of some aspect earlier on in the early days.
Yeah.
But the film, like just watching captions now, like parts of it, you look at it and you think to yourself, it's just telling a story. Like, how is this taking 13 years to develop to where we are? Obviously, the next one and the next two, they're like 2024, 2025, 26, and I'm thinking, you're still making people wait another 2 years and whatnot. And I might be the bearer of bad luck or whatever. And I'm always just like, when you make big movies like this and you've got a time scale, all it takes for one death. And death's around the corner for anybody. And that hype can vanish. Like, Sigourney Weaver's in this, and obviously she's going to be in the next one. But she didn't even have a place in this. It was just like segments, flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I think this movie shouldn't have been 3 hours. 3 hours and 20 minutes or something madness.
Yeah,
it could have been
12,
140, I would have probably said. There's a bit of needless dialogue. But for me, it wasn't that bad. I'd done exactly the same as you. Didn't watch too many trailers, because trailers these days, the first trailer will always show one perspective, like a racehorse with the blinkers on.
Yeah.
You only see you see the end.
Yeah, of course.
But in the second trailer and the third trailer, they're so, it's like you've gone straight into IMAX. All that field of view is just come into play, and it's changed the context. Like the movie, I came out of it My normal thing, you see me, I start watching a movie, and if it's long dialogue, I'm sat there, hour in, man's like, where am I? Where am I? And then you just carry on. I wake up and get back into it. Like,
it's hard though when you're tired and you fall asleep in all these sort of films.
it's cause it's progressing, but it's needless dialogue. Like the end bit when there's that mad battle on the ship as it's going down, that was top tier because just the clarity of the graphics. It shows you technology in 13 years. That was not possible. I guarantee, like they say with video games, they had an image back then, and it's just stepped up. So for me, it's a solid movie, but there's some needless stuff that it's not needed. If they're going to bring out the next 2 films like this, 3.5 hours,
Yeah, it's too long.
We're stepping into theatre times where you need break time, man.
Yeah, I know intervals. There's a few films that still do it. Like we've got the Bollywood ones, and I think Quentin Tarantino did it for The Hateful Eight, which was a nice touch. I don't think he needed it for that sort of film, but definitely for these big blockbuster ones, man.
But when you've got a lot of dialogue, that's the thing that I'm looking at. Like, if we look at the generation we live in right now, TikTok, Instagram, whatnot, everything's crunched into 30 seconds, 60 seconds. 3.5 hours is a lot of time to be sitting in, especially if you're going to bring kids to it.
Yeah.
Like, no kids want to sit there. Kids, you take them to the toilet, they're going to want munchies, going to the toilet. You've missed 35 minutes of movie there.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like times have changed as well, so it's kind of like, the attention span of people. And it's not even necessarily us, it's like the young generation. Like you said, there's TikTok, there's Facebook Shorts and YouTube Shorts and stuff. They just want something quick and easy. Obviously, film's a bit different, but having a blockbuster like this, where people would want to take their families to go see it, 3 hours long, it is too long. 3 hours, 12 minutes.
Well, you know how it is. You watch a TikTok, even YouTube. You will see a short that people will do the rundown in highlights, and it's in under a minute. So sometimes I've always said that you can watch a trailer and you can basically watch the movie. Like start, middle, end, boom, done.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Yeah, man. I don't know, like, obviously, when I've watched it with no trailers, nothing, no spoilers or nothing, and this is at a time where I went to watch the film at 11 o'clock, so I knew it's going to be a bit too long. But, like, when I've watched the startup, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Obviously, like you said, they're talking about what he's been up to his many years. And then I didn't know the villain from the first one was in this one.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, this is kind of cool. No one's ruined it for me. No trailers. Was he in the trailer?
I'm not.
Johnny said he was in the trailer. Cameraman Johnny said he was in the trailer.
That's the thing. Me and you just went blind into this, so it was all fresh. That's where I said I like the dynamic where I took it and it was water for ducks back.
Yeah.
When you watch some of these trailers, you feel like you've already been there, done it, and I don't know. The trailers just ruin what it sets your expectations. That's the thing. Like some of the dialogue between the tribes, I can't really remember seeing that. All I just remember is watching the trailer. I was getting too much Wakanda Forever vibes, and I don't care. That's what kills movies when you got the same lines, and it seems like every year they do this with movies, video games, TV shows, same scripts. I'm just like, wow. Do you just like, are you in cahoots?
I think it is a Hollywood thing where they just have the same stuff. They go through it on the same hymn sheet to tick the boxes.
Yeah,
to make the mainstream audience, enjoy the film.
But then that's why I say some movies are smash hits. Some are, you know what, they stay on that shelf for a reason.
Yeah. And I'm happy that Sam Worthington got some work. I haven't seen him anything for ages.
Yeah, it's it's probably been 13 years.
Yeah, it's probably been 13 years. I haven't seen him nothing for ages.
He's been working on it for 13 years.
Yeah, exactly. James Cameron. I don't know, man. Like, again, like I said, I wouldn't take little ones to go see it because they just get bored. I think this is for the generation that watched it back in 2009. It still made a lot of money. Over 1 billion now. I think you need to make another billion to either make some profit off it. or even break even. I'm not quite sure.
How
But
long was the first movie?
first movie is 2 hours and 42 minutes, where this one could have been 2 hours and 42 minutes. But the funny thing about this, the first one didn't feel that long.
Yeah.
Well, this one, I think it broke because the way the film broke up in parts. We had the battle scene, with the Colonel, who's Avatar from the first one, and then they go to the tribe in the water.
Yeah.
And then the film just slows down slightly from there. And then obviously you got the bully kids as well, and all that law, and the brothers and everything like that, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it has kind of like pacing issues where it kind of runs. As soon as it comes on, it runs, and then it kind of slows down the pace. But
Yeah, because the first one, going back, I can barely remember the movie. That's how bad a impact it left on me, because obviously it was such a highly acclaimed movie at the time when it dropped, but over time they always say, is it one of the greats? That's how I always think. The great movies, like from your childhood, say like Home Alone, your Jurassic Parks, you could not watch that for a decade and you still remember those scenes. Avatar ain't one of those movies for me, which, with all its plaudits and everything, I'm just like, I'm not too sure. But this one, it had more standouts, which I don't know if that's just me growing more as a person, but I'm still going back to my core.
Mm-hmm.
Good movies you don't forget.
Yeah.
Bad movies you forget.
yeah, no, it's true. But honestly, a bit too long. But I have nothing else I want to speak about. Oh, Natiri as well. Terry was pretty sick in the film. But she's kind of cool in the first one as well. Like, she's quite like... But she's like more strong-willed in this one, if you know what I mean. She's...
Again, I think it's the way the world is. This is a Beyonce line. We run the world. We run the world. So there's this dignified... She's a woman with strength.
Yeah.
Her own. She don't need... Because, to be honest, Jake's the one who's trying to keep everything down. She's like wild. She's out there. She's got anger issues. She just wants to kill. Where Jake's just been like, you know what? Let's just finish this now. Like, how many times he had to pit, I'll give myself up for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And for the tribes. Where the Colonel and Jake, they just wanted to kill each other. That was just as simple as it was.
Like, it's funny because the Colonel didn't even have any memory of what happened. But
And he's got a son.
pissed, bro.
He's got a son.
He's got a son, a human son that hangs out with them as well, which is kind of cool in a way. What was the son's name again? What was his name?
Spider.
Yeah, that's it, Spider. Yeah, like the tribe as well. So kind of
Like, they can build on his character development, because at the end, obviously, he saves the Colonel.
Yeah.
He says, I'm staying with the Avatars. So it's good, but I think that it should only be a year gap. You postpone it longer than a year, and even with movies, I don't even think it should be a year. I think it's about 7-8 months.
do what Saw do.
Yeah, like
The Saw creators, they every October there's a new film, but obviously that's a different budget and everything like that.
But you got to keep the ball running, especially with this generation. People forget very quickly.
They do.
So, and I've not heard of James Cameron on any other big movies
No, he's just been on this.
in the pipework. So,
Yeah.
it's like Michael Bay. You used to be expecting another explosive blockbuster year after year
Yeah.
to keep your attention, because otherwise you're gonna go onto something different. But I felt like this year you had what was the big Marvel one in November? Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like we said, they both look like the same movie. That's what the scariest thing. I think if there weren't Marvel DC movies dropping,
Yeah.
Avatar would probably have a bigger run.
No,
But obviously it's supposed to steal the Christmas headlines.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, other than that, you want to touch on anything else, or just leave it as that?
No, I'm good with that. I would say I'm highly expecting the next one, but if it does hit a 2-year window, well, if I come back with another review, you're probably going to hear the same stuff like, don't leave it 2 years. Like
2 years,
you,
long time.
you kill it. And how I look at actually the only thing you can give for any of these movies, it's all CGI, so it don't age.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, guys, appreciate you coming back. Hopefully, it won't be longer than the next one. Please subscribe on
Insta.
my
Twitter.
Please subscribe on Insta, Twitter, and everything else. Appreciate it, guys. Peace. See you next time.
Man went blank there.
Yeah, bro.